Alright, hello everyone, AdrenaLuke here, doing another episode of Dirty Driving here, because I was paired in the same lobby with my friend Jonathan Brigsby here, which was kind of cool to see. Those of you that don't know, you can't really pick who you're paired with in the daily races, it's just random, as long as you're within the same driver rank, which me and him are. So I was hoping that Jonathan there would be able to catch up to me during this race, and that me and him could have a pretty good battle. That would be pretty cool to be able to do. But unfortunately, since I'm making a dirty driving episode, things didn't really go too well for him, and he told me to save the replay after this race is over, which I did, and I watched it, and so now we're all going to watch together what happened. So Jonathan here is in this purple Subaru, and we're going to follow Ivanelli here in this red Subaru. And we're leading up into the hairpin at the end of the first lap. Now, ideally, you should be braking right about here at the latest, or maybe up into that next marker, that red arrow marker. That's the latest point that you should brake at. And he doesn't brake until right there, which is way too late. But regardless of him braking late, he still decides to commit to the turn, which is really not a good move. If you realize that you're not going to make the turn and you're like, oh no, I braked way too late, the right thing to do were to be to turn in the opposite direction of where you know the other cars were. And I mean, going back to this, I mean, pay attention to his steering there. He notices that he's not going to make it, but he still commits. Now, I know in this instance there was a car to the left of him though, but it's still his fault for braking. I mean, just how late he brakes. There's really no excuse for that. He's just not paying enough attention at all. And if you're going to be racing, you've got to be paying attention. So we're going to see him mess up severely there with one wheel in the grass. But leading up into lap number 3, we're going to see him do pretty much the same error on this turn up here, where he brakes way too late and he still commits to the turn, causing him to just go right through it, hit the barrier, and then he decides to just leave the race. Now, I'm going to do something that's not really very orthodox here. I'm going to show another, what would you call it, entry in the same video of Dirty Driving here, but who we're going to focus on? Me, myself. Yeah, I know, I'm human, and I can make errors, and I just wanted to show this because, I gotta stay true, and I gotta stay myself, so I'm gonna expose something dirty that I did in this race, and I feel bad about it. So we're coming up into the same turn that we just were at on lap number 3, exiting the first chicane. Now, right here, when we're about to exit the chicane, I really should have gave him the space, but I was so aggressive and so eager to overtake that I do a dive bomb and just absolutely send it. Now, this wasn't really too dirty, but I could have passed him in a much cleaner way, and I could have just been a little bit more patient and wait for a better opportunity to overtake. I was just way too eager, and doing that dive bomb forced him a little bit wide, but it wasn't anything that, rammed him or anything. But I just wanted to show that and expose it. Since this is a dirty driving episode, it wouldn't hurt to show something that I feel bad about and just, give people examples, and, I'm always striving to do better. So that's one error that I made. But, not to compare or anything or say who's better, but I don't really think that measures up to just how big of an error that Ivanelli guy made. I mean, I just can't preach enough that if you realize that you made a big mistake and you know that you're coming in very hot on a turn, if you know you're coming in that hot, really spare the other drivers and, swerve the opposite direction that they're going to be. That's just the most polite thing to do so that you wouldn't ruin their race. But now that we've got all the dirty driving out of the way for both what happened to Jonathan and a dirty dive bomb that I pulled, I want to show you something extra that's not necessarily dirty driving. Just while we're here on this replay, I'm going to go ahead and show you a pretty brilliant move on this guy behind me, this Duros guy here. So, in the last lap of the race, he was gaining on me, and after we exit these S-curves here and we're leading up into the last hairpin, we were, trying to decide who's going to take the inside, and let me go back a little bit because I was trying to make it hard for him to claim the inside. I was staying really close to the inside, and he still commits to it. And that's just a brilliant move because this is really such a long and wide turn that he knew that he still could pull that off. So, excellent move, Duros. I made it very hard for you to claim that inside as I was practically hugging it, but you still made it. And that was a last-minute overtake to end the race, so... I wish that Jonathan was able to catch up to me, but, you know, stuff like this can happen, and unfortunately it wasn't really a good race for him. So that's it for today's episode of Dirty Driving. Race fast, race clean, and I will see you all in the next video.